It should be live.
Woo.
Okay,
Alrighty.
we are live on Twitter. We will be going live in like 3 minutes. Give us 3 minutes and we'll be rocking and rolling. Okay, should be good on Twitter. Double check YouTube. Okay, 1 second. Okay, we should be rocking and rolling now.
Do this. Let's do
All right.
this.
Just waiting for the YouTube to get fixed and we should all be good to go. Oh man, what a night. What a night of sports, man. Tell you what, that NFL draft was a long.
What do you rank this day on the sports calendar? This has got to be top 8.
No.
All right.
No. Like,
No.
is it it's not March Madness. I'm taking
Of
week
course
1
not.
NFL over this.
Okay.
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Are you taking Masters?
Yes, I am taking Masters Sunday.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Christmas Day?
I mean, since they added NFL, yes. It wasn't. I mean, 5 years ago, no.
I mean, I just named what, 6 right there.
This is top
NBA
10.
you go NBA Finals.
But it's just. I mean, it just.
That's
As
team
far as a day
dependent.
combined, though, I think this is better than NBA Finals.
Yeah, that's fair.
We got
I
three
think that's fair.
games, three good playoff game. Well, not all of them are good, but three playoff games and the draft.
I think
It's
that's
pretty.
fair.
That's a decent night.
Let's start this podcast because I think everything's ready to roll.
Let's do it.
All right, everything's rolling. Let's do this thing. All right, 3, 2, 1. We're live. We are live on the Karterkast YouTube and Twitter account right now. NBA playoffs, NFL draft, instant reactions. We've got a ton to get to, so let's just get right into it, Chase. Let's start off. Game just ended. We'll get to Nuggets Clippers in a second. That's still going on right now. It's a 30-point game. We'll get into that. Thunder just came back from down 29. Ja Morant gets hurt, doesn't return to play for the rest of the game. Thunder come back, win from being down 29, make it a 3-0 series. Grizzlies choked down the stretch. I mean, every single player on the court was just, please, anybody else shoot this ball. And credit to the Thunder, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, yeah, yeah, it's a 29-point comeback. That's unbelievable in the playoffs. Credit to OKC. Shows how good they are. At the same time, Ja Morant was out. So, I mean, come on.
It's a different result if Job plays. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Memphis comes away with the win there. If their best player stays in the game. But you deal the cards you've been dealt, and you would think that this roster could at least protect a 29-point lead. But you're playing OKC at this point. What I saw down the stretch, Carter, obviously it was a big Memphis joke. It also was just an insane Oklahoma City defensive lockdown where they put in Caruso, they put in Lou Dort, and they just said, "You guys aren't going to get to the basket. We're not going to give you clean shots. The offense is just over." And to see them flip a switch like that, it was like, I don't know if scary is the right word, impressive for sure. And it just made me really think about what the actual potential of this Oklahoma City team is. Because, I mean, look, they're better than Memphis. That's very clear. But tonight's a game that I think every other team in the NBA loses and at least throws in the towel playing at Memphis. It was a travel day in between, and so you didn't have a lot of time to rest. And the way that they came back in that game, the way that they said, we're just not going to lose, we refuse to give up, was really, really impressive and really makes me start to think a little bit more seriously about Oklahoma City. I know they're already like the favorite by Vegas odds, but I think at the end of the day, this has convinced me that they can actually win this title.
Yeah, I think that's where you got to start off with too is the defense when they flipped that switch, and the two most impressive things for me tonight were Chet Holmgren in that second half, dude. And he hit 5 threes in that second half. He was hitting big shot after big shot. He nailed all the clutch free throws at the end there. And then the next thing was, how many big plays did Alex Caruso make in big moments in this game? Jaren Jackson had the ball, I think, 2 or 3 times just stripped away from Alex Caruso, just making big play after big play. And all these dudes, when they saw, whether it didn't matter who it was tonight, whether it was Lou Dort, Caruso, Kason Wallace, even SGA, Chet, whoever they got switched on, every Grizzlies player, once it turned the fourth quarter, they got scared going one-on-one against them. And credit to the Thunder, man. That defense was stifling in the second half. Obviously, it helps when Josh not on the floor, but they do deserve a ton of credit for that because the plays Caruso was making down the stretch was just unbelievable stuff.
It was crazy. OKC is just full of guys where you see on the court and you're like, wait, they have him? Like, oh my gosh. Like that's their backup. This is nasty. This is crazy. I mean, seeing Caruso, Dort, Kason Wallace, when you need offense, Isaiah Joe walks in there, and that's just like the guard position, right? And that we're talking about. They are absolutely stacked at every position, and just all of these guys where you're like, he'd be nice to have on my team. He'd be nice to have on my team. He'd be nice to have on my team. Not to play starter minutes or to carry, but just in these situations where you need him. And Alex Caruso, who granted has been hurt, and so there hasn't seen a lot from him, but he's been pretty quiet this season. And then even in the playoffs, all of a sudden you start to realize, oh yeah, we have this dude in the tool shed, and we can whip him out whenever. And he was insane tonight down the stretch in the biggest moments when they needed the win and needed the stops.
The way Jaren Jackson played tonight down the stretch, obviously he had a solid game, made some big plays defensively. Great first half, don't get me wrong. But the way he played tonight, does it make you second guess giving him a ton of money on his next contract?
Yeah, it does.
Because what is he? Is he your third best player on a championship team? Fourth?
I think he could be a third best player. He has to be. I think if he was playing on a championship team, be a primary defender, and then a like the fourth scoring option. But the defense
Yeah.
makes up for that. Makes him your third best player. It, the offense, obviously, for Memphis was hard to watch when Jaw went out.
It was
Again,
Scottie Pippen. That was it.
it was Scottie Pippen, dude, and it was Bane just being completely shut down by Dort and Caruso every other time. I mean, if you're Memphis, you have a lot of questions you need to be asking. Obviously, the season went a little awry, and get rid of your head coach and everything. But they're going to talk themselves into, and this is what's going to happen. Like, hey, if Jaw's healthy, then we might be talking something different here. It's 2-1, or maybe even you're saying if he doesn't twist his ankle in that Golden State game, we're not even playing, Oklahoma City and things like that. That you get caught in the hypotheticals, and at the end of the day, you're gonna pay Jaren Jackson Jr. because you can, and he's someone that you just don't let walk if you want to keep your job as a GM. And right now Memphis is in that spot of I just want to be good enough to keep my job.
Yeah, it was. Look, the season's going to end for Memphis. I doubt Ja plays in Game 4. They're going to get swept in this series, and look, we knew that was coming all along. So none of this is a surprise. I was a little alarmed by the first half by OKC, but I kind of credit that to okay, OKC just traveled, Memphis going back home, playing in front of your home crowd in a playoff game after you've had a terrible season last year. Those fans were amped up, and on top of that, one team was way more desperate than the other. OKC had no desperation going into this game, and Memphis threw every single curveball they had in this game, and it should have worked out, to be honest, if Ja doesn't get hurt. If Ja doesn't get hurt, Memphis wins this game without question.
Yeah, in that first half, like if we're talking about concern for the Thunder, I just thought Memphis was kind of shooting the lights out, and they had the juice at home in their arena. And I think that people were excited to see that team play playoff basketball because we forget it's been a couple seasons, right? Of once a decently proud program where they were getting 2 seasons, stuff like that. So I am more impressed than I am worried about OKC with the whole comeback there and the 29 points. And they just showed how many options they have. They showed all the lineups they can throw and the situational things that they have working for them. They're the deepest team in basketball, and what they have cooking right now is nice. It almost seemed like, honestly, it's like I know they didn't. This isn't the case, but it almost seemed like they're like, okay, let's see how big of a comeback we can have. And once they got to 29, they're like, okay, that's probably enough. Like let's see, like almost like they were toying with Memphis. Obviously, Ja getting out made it easier on them, but that's just how good they are and that how outmatched they are. And I think if you're OKC, you're just you're just happy now that you don't have to play another game. Like you're like, oh,
Yeah.
4 is way better than 5, right?
And yeah, and we'll see what happens in the Clippers Nuggets series going the rest of the way. But that might end a little quicker than we initially thought. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But last thing on this Grizzlies Thunder series is Zach Edey. Zach Edey was getting picked apart in that pick and roll in the second half. I mean, they were targeting him every single time. And I don't necessarily think it's a Zach Edey problem or Zach Edey's fault. Like, I just think you can't play him in these big playoff minutes, and that's what we talked about with the Rudy Gobert stuff. Is like, look, eventually these dudes are just going to get played off the floor in these big moments because they get picked apart. And it's not to say they're this terrible player or anything, but that's just the nature of playoff basketball.
Yeah, you don't want to just sit there and just bag on one guy, but Zach Edey would be a great defender if you were playing the Orlando Magic, who couldn't shoot, right? But you're not. And in that Golden State game, he was barbecue chicken every single time Steph ended up dribbling the ball at him on a pick and roll switch, and OKC's figured it out, and that was their game plan in the second half, and it worked out because he's tall, he's big, he can block shots, he's lengthy, but once you get him more than 20 feet away from the basket, what do you do with him at that point? He doesn't have lateral quickness. He's not going to be able to stay with these guards. And in today's NBA game, there's 4 guys. Honestly, let's be honest, probably 5 on the floor at any given time that can blow right by that dude and
Mm-hmm.
find an open shot pretty much whenever they like. And so if you're Memphis, and you've seen this with other centers and other teams in the league, there's just no hiding those guys anymore. The league's evolved. It's become a truly positionless game in a body type and a player that can only play one position is starting to become obsolete. And so credit to him. He's just, I mean, it's his first season, and I don't think it's fair to say that you can count him out as a player in his career. But
You want to.
yeah, I mean,
You're just
I
trying to be
wanted
nice right now. You're being political, Chase, right now. You're saying, you're like, credit to him. He's a
we're
great
live.
player. He's this cute guy. He's awesome. He's
Wait,
so
what?
hot.
Wait a second.
You're just trying to be so nice to him.
Wait a second.
Chase, I tell me how you actually feel.
How I actually feel? Look, I was saying 8, 9 months ago when the draft was coming up that whoever drafted Zach Giddy would be the stupidest team in the league. Centers are extinct unless your name is Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic. It's just not feasible. It doesn't make sense, and we're seeing it in the biggest moments of these biggest games. You can't play these guys. They're useless. So
Now,
look,
the
he
one
has
thing
time.
is,
Go ahead.
I will say this about Zach Edey. One thing Zach Edey does deserve credit for is he's gonna be a great regular season center forever. But in a 7 game playoff series, that's gonna get exposed every single time. But hey, when you're playing the second night of the back to back and you haven't had much time to really scout Zach Edey and prepare for him necessarily, then yeah, he's gonna have more success against that team. But when you're playing that team, scouting them for 4 to 7 straight games, he's going to get picked apart, especially because in the playoffs, you're not playing bums like the Hornets or the Wizards.
If you're playing 2K and your opponent is playing Zach Edey, you just run a pick and roll with. I mean, it's what they're doing on the court in real life. It doesn't take rocket scientists to figure out how to play offense against someone who's running out a 7-2 guy who isn't quick at all. So look, again, I don't want to bag on Zach Edey, even though you totally just baited me into doing it. But I think there's a chance for him to develop because he's so. I mean, he's not necessarily young. He played a decent amount of years in college, but it's his first season. So if he could figure out some lateral quickness, maybe become a more versatile defender on different positions, and then maybe add a little bit to his offensive game, there's a shot for him. But look, I mean, if you can't do psycho things as a center that we've seen great centers do in the past 5 years in the NBA, that I don't really know why you're out there, unless you can guard 1 through 5 and jump through the gym and rebound.
I love it. I love it. We got to move on. That's enough on Thunder Grizzlies. That series over.
Over.
That series is over. We'll end up talking about the Thunder in their next series when they probably play the Clippers. So let's talk about that game. Nuggets Clippers. We started this podcast in the middle of the fourth quarter. The second half, the game was done at halftime. Like even the start of the second half, immediately you could see the body language from the Nuggets. It was over. They had no fight in them whatsoever, and Nuggets end up losing. I think the final score was 83-117. Look, I don't want to overreact too much, Chase, but doesn't this feel like it might be over?
I mean, that's overreacting for sure, dude. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to overreact.
but you are.
But has the lack of depth with Denver and too many minutes for Jokic and the Clippers' overall talent kind of telling us what's going to happen in the rest of this series?
I mean, look, Denver's getting the bone end of the deal here. They only got one day in between. They had to travel out to LA. They're playing in front of a really rowdy crowd. They shot 26% from three. I mean, Jokic was Jokic. He's always going to be good, but he's just got no help from anyone else. I mean, Murray goes 8 for 15. Aaron Gordon takes the most shots of the Nuggets with 16, going 6 for 16. Like that's just not winning basketball for anyone, and especially not this Nuggets team. I mean, Westbrook only plays 9 minutes, and I think it's not a punt game because those don't exist, but it's we need to get right the next day. And they were thinking about practice, about 2 hours ago, probably in the halftime locker room. So I don't want to say it's over. I think that is a reaction. You still have Nikola Jokic on your team, and we did see what the Nuggets can do in games 1 and 2. Obviously, letting game 2 slip away there at the end, but I think there's a legit shot for this series to still go 7, still head back to Denver. No matter what, I think it's going, to 5, and you'll have a chance to extend the series there. So it's not over. Not over when 15's on the other side.
What would you actually take, though? What are you picking here? Right now, I think you pick. Did you pick Nuggets before this series with me?
Yeah, I picked Nuggets 7 with you.
What would you take right now?
Right now, oh, I mean, it's so hard not to be biased. They just won by 40. I'd probably take Clips in 6.
Yeah, I think that would be the odds-on favorite right there.
Yeah, Nuggets get one more at home, but LA's looking good. Obviously, Kawhi's looking like a new man. Didn't even play his best tonight, but they got it figured out right now. And I think they have the Nuggets figured out, these matchups and being able to attack Jokic defensively. And then the one thing that you got to give Ty Lue and the coaching staff credit for, and the Clippers team, the non-Jokic minutes look like they're playing a college team and not a good one. I mean, you completely dependent on one player is not going to get you far in the playoffs, and the Clippers know how to take advantage of it and they're just attacking everyone defensively, and the Nuggets can't get anything going. So if it stays like this, I think Jokic has to go nuclear to pull off a miracle here, but I'd take Clips in 6.
Yeah, I think Jokic is going to have to average, not even an exaggeration, 35, 15, and 15 the rest of the series for them to even have a chance to win it. Jack's in the chat. He says, I'm overreacting. It's over.
Sorry, Jack. Brutal couple nights for Jack. You get two overtime losses for the Avs, and Nuggets are out here looking like this. I feel for our guy.
And then the Broncos, I think they made a good pick tonight. We'll get into some NFL draft stuff. Everyone expected them to go running back in the first round, and they went with another corner, another defensive back when that defense is already elite.
Yeah,
it might be the last couple days might be rough for Colorado sports fans.
Yeah,
Shadur's collapsing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I am moving out there. Maybe that. I mean, it is kind of a funny coincidence, but it's not.
Yeah, think about that. If you're a Colorado sports fan, the Nuggets lose in overtime, the Avs lose in overtime, then the Nuggets get absolutely blown out by 30+. If you're a Colorado Buffalo fan at the same time, Shadur falls to the second round, and everybody's dunking on Colorado and Shadur on Twitter right now. It might be one of the most brutal 2-3 day stretches to be a Colorado sports fan.
I mean, and the Rockies, I mean, you don't even know if they still exist. They might be the second worst team in baseball. So, not great. Not great. My heart goes out to you.
With this series, though, I don't want to overreact. Look, if I could flip my pick, I would. I'm still gonna say Nuggets in 7 or whatever. I don't think this is over, but especially when you have Nikola Jokic on the other side. But with a healthy Kawhi Leonard on the floor, man, this Clippers team, the Nuggets just don't have enough. And credit to Connor in the preview for saying that, because look, I believed that Nikola Jokic would be the player to overcome that, and I still think he can. But you watch these games and, oh my gosh, man, the body language by Denver was so pitiful tonight. It was pitiful.
It was. Again, I don't want to call it a punt.
Nobody cared tonight. Nobody wanted it tonight. Like Jokic always looks like that on the floor, so that's different. And Jokic obviously wanted it, and he had a triple-double, had a solid game and whatnot. Murray even shot the ball well, but it was just dysfunctional. There was no chemistry. There was no swagger about them. It was borderline 1-2-3 Cancun with them. And so game 4 is going to be the telling game. If they go down 3-1, obviously that's curtains for them. But it all comes down to game 4, and I just don't know how much faith I have in them, to be honest. Because, dude, you watch these games and you just go, look, Kawhi Leonard doesn't even have to have a good game, and they still won by 30+. Jokic went out and had a triple-double, and it did not matter in the slightest. It was like Hunter Dickinson empty stats that we always talk about.
No, it's true. But game four, man, this is why game fours are so huge. I mean, if they tie it up and they head back to Denver, we're having an entirely different conversation, right? We said gritty win in LA for the
Yep.
Nuggets. They look back. Your point about the body language is a good one, and I wonder if they've checked out. Obviously with the firing of Malone, I wonder if just the locker room isn't right now. I mean, there have been times where they've shown some fire there in Denver, and maybe it's easy to when you have 20,000 people screaming for you and cheering for you. But when you go on the road, that's when you need that stuff, and you lost by dang near 40. So doesn't
Yep.
look good.
It does not look good. Anything else from this game? There really wasn't much to break down from this game individually. It's more so how do you think about each of these teams going forward? You feel great about the Clippers, and if it ends up being a Clippers OKC series, I think you've got a legitimate case for either side.
Yeah, now you're talking. One thing's become very clear to me from tonight. I mean, obviously a big blow. You can't take too much away. The Oklahoma City Thunder would roll the Denver Nuggets. Would absolutely roll them. There's a shot that the Nuggets still pull out the series. So I like. It's one of those interesting. Like I could see the Nuggets still winning it, but if they do, they will get rolled. But if LA makes it and they go to second round, then we have a legit series and we have a lot to talk about.
Let me ask you this. If it's Clippers versus Thunder in the next round, is that just the Western Conference Finals in your opinion?
I mean, it depends how the Warriors look if Jimmy's healthy.
Do you think the Warriors with Jimmy healthy have a legitimate shot at beating the Thunder? Do you
Yes,
think the
I
Lakers
do.
with LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves have a legit chance at beating the Thunder?
Lakers, no. Golden State, I do think they have a shot.
Really?
I do. I mean, with all the experience and the way that those guys look when they're together and healthy, I think there's a chance. Yeah,
I don't know.
I wouldn't bet it. But I
And
think there's
also,
a
I don't
chance.
know. I don't know if we're gonna get healthy Jimmy Butler the rest of these playoffs because if he misses multiple games, they're not getting out of that Rockets series.
Yeah. So for all intents and purposes, yeah, that would be the West Conference Finals, a Clippers versus Thunder matchup.
I love it. Let's go to the East real quick, and then we'll wrap up some NBA and we'll get to the NFL draft. Pistons Knicks. This game felt like, honestly, with the NFL draft tonight and watching these other games, it feels like this game was like 10 hours ago. This game feels so far away. It was impressive by I just let's just call it like it is. Let's stop beating around the bush. Cat deserves a lot of credit.
He was
Cat
awesome.
deserves. He was awesome, and he was awesome in last year's playoffs. And he gets a lot of crap, and I've even given him a lot of crap. He deserves so much credit. And shout out Cat for a great game tonight. He made so many big plays and big moments, and the Pistons' lack of talent around Cade Cunningham once again came back to bite him, and I think that's going to end up being the story of this series when it's all said and done. I still think it's going to be Knicks in 6, but yeah, I think tonight was just an example of, look, Cade doesn't have any help around him. When Malik Beasley can't hit a parlay for you and can't get 15 points and goes 2 of 10 from 3, and someone here is blowing yet another final leg of a parlay. I mean, what's going on over there?
It's bad. It's bad. Vibes are down. I mean, it's not even that I'm missing them. I'd almost feel better if I missed them by a ton. I can taste it, man. It's so. I mean, how do you go 2 for 10 with those looks? I would shoot better than that. I mean, come on, well, Malik Beasley. No wonder Peyton Pritchard won Sixth Man of the Year. Shout out Peyton Pritchard.
Some are saying cursed.
Yeah, some are saying curse. Some are saying fade me immediately. If you want to make some money, just go find my picks and do the opposite. I mean, the Draymond one was also disgusting. It's been
The
bad, man.
Draymond one was juiced. It was like minus 170.
Yeah, I was playing it safe. I was playing it safe, man. I might have to hit it all like minus 500 just to get the vibes back, just to get a win.
That's what we'll do. Tomorrow you have to give us a minus 500 just to get the record back.
I'll do it.
And
Don't get me.
big shout out to Dylan. Dylan 2-0. If you miss the minus 500, you're getting bumped. We're putting a listener in. You're still doing podcasts, but parlay picks you're out. We're getting listener picks in, and then Dylan 2-0 undefeated. He says he's going to retire. He's going to text me first thing when I wake up in the morning. He's going to send me a pick. But Knicks Pistons. Any thoughts from this game?
It's a great game. This is why I love this series. It had kind of everything, chippiness. You never really knew what was going to happen there towards the end. A really cool Detroit atmosphere, seeing some playoffs for
The
the first time in a
clock
while. Go ahead.
the clock operator for the Detroit Pistons, I know it's neutral in the playoffs, like they said on the broadcast, but that is one of the most genius moves ever a home team has ever done by
Genius.
starting the shot clock early and they get the ball immediately. They got a free timeout with the ball out of bounds and had a chance to win it if Jalen Duren doesn't throw the dumbest pass I've ever seen.
How do you not, if you're Jalen Duren, and I mean honestly, like JB, like
It's on a
throw it to
bigger
the
set.
hoop. Throw it to the freaking hoop. Like, what is this like curl around? Do you think Cade half court is better than just throwing it to the hoop and getting a hand on it and just seeing if you can get it in? It's ridiculous. Anyway, Knicks look good. Knicks continue to wear down their bodies. I mean, look at these minutes for the starters: 39 for Bridges, 43 for Anunoby, 41 for Towns, 39 for Brunson, 41 for Hart. I mean, it's just insane. It's the way the Knicks play basketball. It's the way they win games. They did it tonight. I was impressed with, obviously, Cat, like you said, Brunson always showing up in the big moments. Everyone played well. They have grit. They have grind. I also think Detroit, they're right there, man. The lack of talent, obviously, guys not stepping up for Cade and hitting big shots in the moment. Although as a team, they did shoot in the 40s percentile, 43% from three, which kind of kept them in it there, especially towards the end where they hit like three in a row to make it even a close game in the first place. These are the games that swing series. I think there's a world where Detroit, wins one of these last two where they were so close and they or one or sorry, game one or this one where they were so close and just kind of let it slip away, and then we're really talking about can Detroit win this series and move on. But it's a game of grit. It's a game of swings. The Knicks have it. They have that experience. They have that drive and that will. You can see it. The Pistons are, young and they're trying to piss those players off. And credit to the Knicks. They have the right amount of fire to chirp back, but not let it get in their head. That's kind of what I saw tonight. And again, like we can't do this after game three where like the series is over
Yeah.
because you just never know. But I mean, Knicks at 6 is looking like a dang near lock.
Yeah, it is. I think Knicks in 5 might even have potential. I mean, if it's we get if they get out of Detroit 2-0, then Knicks in 5 is looking
Yeah.
pretty nice there. But the other thing you mentioned that I think is important here is, oh my gosh, dude! These guys can't. The minutes the Knicks players are playing are just not sustainable if you want to win the finals or make the finals. You have to do this, and then just imagine what they're going to have to do against Boston. The starting five is just going to say 48 minutes for everybody, as long as they're not out of foul trouble and don't go to overtime. And then, oh wait, then you're going to have to play yet another series against a Cavs team or a Pacers team if you somehow get past Boston, and then you got to go to the finals. These minutes are not sustainable. This is crazy what Tibbs is doing. He's running these players into the ground. And we've seen this time and time again throughout his career. This is his downfall.
I wonder if some of the Knicks players like if you're OG Anunoby, are you kind of like when you're at an open gym and it's like winners stay on the court and you just keep winning and you're just kind of like I kind of want to lose this one. Like I want a breather, dude.
That's
I,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
like I wonder if some of the Knicks are getting to that point because it's legitimately insane. And the craziest part about it is they've been doing it all season. Like it's not like they're just like we saved this for the playoffs. This is just their philosophy. It's what they're doing. To be able to sustain this for 3 rounds, I mean 2, much less 3, heaven forbid 4. I don't even know if it's humanly possible as much as it is possible to just win those games. I don't know how their bodies keep up.
If I did this on like a solo thing or whatever. Obviously, if Tibbs loses this series and the Knicks lose, he's gone. I think we all know that. Do you think Tibbs gets fired if they lose to the Celtics in like a 4-1 series?
I think he does. Honestly, I think they kind of move on. They've invested so much in this roster, and I think they see it as a no time to waste kind of moment.
So, out of the 16 playoff teams, do 5 of them have new head coaches by next season. So the Grizzlies, the Nuggets already are going to have new head coaches next season.
Yeah.
Potentially the Knicks, the Bucks. You would think would have a new head coach next season,
Yep.
and then the Magic, I think, might be a sneaky one.
Magic, maybe. I'm trying to think. Houston
Clippers
safe,
are good.
obviously.
The rest might be safe. I
I
think Chris Finch is safe in Minnesota too.
that Finch is a sneaky one. If they ended up getting gentlemen swept, I think that there's your fifth potential right there. If it's a gentleman's sweep in LA.
Yeah. All right. Well, talking about coaches getting fired, talking about another man's job. Quickly, other playoff stuff. We don't have to spend long on this. If Jimmy Butler is out multiple games in this series, I think the Warriors might be toast.
I think they might be. I think it's super important to have him in there, and we saw what they looked like without him. And I think Houston's tasting blood.
And we talked about the non-Jokic minutes in with the Nuggets series. The non-Jimmy Butler minutes when he went out in that Rockets game, obviously they were already getting spanked a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, that team looked lost without him. It was Pat Spencer trying to save the day with the 15-foot bank shot straight on.
I mean, you have like the Anderson Varejao doppelganger like throwing the ball like he's falling into a pit of lava. And Steph, I mean, you look on his face, I almost feel bad for the guy. He's like, who are we?
Wait, how did we just went from the Golden State Warriors to the Santa Cruz Warriors? Like it just happened like that right after the Jimmy Butler injury. You're like, wait, I'm actually playing with a bunch of nobodies, and Jimmy Butler's just masking over all of this.
Exactly. I mean, he's that important. But when the thing about Golden State is like, is he so important to where if he is healthy, do I take them seriously in a series against the Thunder? I think I'm at that point. Yes, like he makes that much of an impact, especially in the playoffs and the way that we know he treats these games. So at the end of the day, man, if he's not in, it's gonna be tough. But like how awful is a hip contusion? I mean, that's just a nasty bruise. Like surely, I don't know anything, and he's obviously one of those guys who gets injured and kind of takes his time. But I would think he could be back by the end of this series. No,
He can't. I don't think he can miss multiple games though. If obviously it looks like he's out for Game 3 already. If he misses Game 4, I think we're talking about the Rockets playing in the second round.
I think he has to be back for Game 4 for Golden State to feel like they have a chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what pelvic contusions look like. I've luckily never had one. I don't know what it. You read the Twitter doctor. Someone will say he's retiring and he's done for his career, and then other Twitter doctors will say he'll be back for Game 3. So
yeah,
there's
how would a normal Joe like you or I? How would we get a contusion in our pelvis? What's the most likely scenario?
I think you would literally have to be like so cartoonish where we actually just slip on a banana peel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, slipping down the stairs seems like you get like kind of like
you can play with, you're playing church ball. Shout out, go subscribe. You're playing church ball with some people, and you get like some dirty folks that like, right when you jump and you're most vulnerable, if someone like touches you slightly or pushes you or nudges you, you can like go flying a little bit. You could do it that way if someone pushes you like that. I mean, kind of the way Jimmy Butler did, honestly.
Yeah, I think, if you get a contusion, you're like hobbling around. You're probably sitting on like a cushion, like a little inflatable donut. That actually might hurt. I don't know. I don't know anything.
Yeah, it hurts. He's not playing Game 3. What do you think? No, he's just being a wuss. So what are you talking about?
You can shoot these guys up with sorts of meds these days. Come on, man.
Who actually got hurt?
Who's that?
LeBron. Oh my gosh,
Dude,
I can't believe.
Shocked.
I mean,
he came back.
I couldn't believe it. I thought they were gonna have to call the ambulance. I want to say this lightly. I thought it was DeMar Hamlin 2.0. And I know LeBron came back from the dead, and we were all #witness.
#witness. that is my glorious king. You know, I saw live Kristaps Porzingis look like
He
he
got
got
shot in the
shot
head.
in the middle. I mean, he came
He
out
was
to
playing. He was playing Russian roulette on the court.
he came out of the locker room to shoot the free throws looking like Kratos and like what is going on with the back of his head right now? And he spent like 10 seconds on the floor. So obviously something bad must have happened to LeBron. I mean, we're just lucky he's still alive. To be honest, he is too.
In the chat, Andrew says he was milking for the flagrant. Well, yeah, we saw the peak. He was sitting there doing the. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
He's doing the Nico Harrison. Well, like, please. I feel like we've seen. I feel like the flopping has been upped more. So the flopping hasn't been like as egregious like the Trey Young, James Harden flops, I think, where it's like so blatant, like it's almost stupid. It's been where it's like just pure soccer flopping in these NBA playoffs, where dudes are just going down and pretending they're dying and rolling around on the floor and like making it a bigger scene than normal. But like Trey Young and James Harden were like just pure foul baiting.
Yeah, they were the whole like get the drive, get your arm underneath mine, and I'm just gonna flail my arm.
Yeah.
Guys are much better at it now, and they've learned to go to the ground and like they've gotten really good at selling these things to the point where I'm like I can't even blame the officials sometimes because that looked like a foul to me in real time, you know. And it's easy for commentators and Grant Hill or Reggie Miller sit there and be like, these guys got to get these calls right. Where it's like, look, dude, like you make the call in real time. This is tough, man. I mean, they have different angles, and of course, when we go back and review it, we see that he's flopping. We see he didn't get touched, but these guys are they're so dang good at it. Like Brunson is a master at it. And
he is a master foul baiter. That is for sure.
Master foul baiter,
without question.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards gets fined $50,000 for saying his is bigger than the guy he was talking to in the crowd, and I've got $300 million or whatever. Any thoughts on that? Anthony Edwards saying he's got a bigger one than the guy in the crowd.
I love it.
You think he should have been fined?
No. Where's the fine for that guy? I mean, why is anyone allowed to say whatever they want to these cats, and the second they say something back, as crude as it may be, they get reprimanded and they have to pay a bunch of money? Where's that guy's fine? What was he saying to him?
This goes to my other question about this. Who would have been the funniest person to have that response? Who in the NBA would have been the funniest video ever if they said the same thing Anthony Edwards did to someone in the crowd?
Man.
Alex Caruso?
I think Christian Brown. Maybe Peyton Pritchard.
I think we have a theme here.
No. It'd be Sam Hauser.
Sam Hauser?
I think that's the best.
Yeah, it's got it. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because I did not prepare this question at all. It's 1:15 in the morning.
I think Zach Edey's got to be up there. That'd be a great.
If you're in the chat right now, type in the chat who would be the funniest person to say the Anthony Edwards line to a fan in the crowd. Sam Hauser's probably the pick.
Sam Hauser would be great.
Sam Hauser would be funny. LaMelo would do it.
LaMelo, yeah, you'd be like, oh, like
LaMelo's probably said it and just didn't get caught on video.
We'd be shocked that that's all he said. I think that's where we'd be at.
Jack said Josh Giddey. Andrew said George is kneeing. I think the more irrelevant of a player would make it funnier. Like,
are you talking about the NBA's sexiest man, George is kneeing, saying that?
Yeah, sexiest man.
I think that takes the cake. Shout out Andrew.
Did Donovan Mitchell and SGA? And then let's go on. We're deep into NBA Twitter. Yeah. Anything else in the NBA? Celtics that series is toast. I mean, we all know that was always going to end. Jason Tatum should play the rest of this. Yeah, sorry, but but it's Jover. Jason Tatum shouldn't play the rest of the series, right?
He shouldn't. I think he comes back for game 4. That's what it's
Yeah.
leaning towards. And sometimes you want to keep these guys warm. But I did get to go to the Garden the other night, and last night actually got to see my boys in person. And tell you what, they're just as impressive as they are on the screen. I tell you what, the feeling in Boston. Go ahead now.
Pause.
What's up?
Yeah, just
What
interesting
did I
comment
say?
there. Okay,
Yeah.
quick thing. You went to the Garden.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're biased towards it, but give me top 3 sports venues you've been to when you've seen a game at them off the
Okay.
dome.
Holy crap. So venues. I also went to Fenway.
So is that
Uh
1-2?
I mean, yeah, because I haven't been to a lot of pro stuff. So being in a really big city like that. And then I think I went to Staples Center to see some March Madness. I got to see that Michigan team with like Mo Wagner, Jordan Poole, Duncan Robinson was on it. That was cool. That was special. That was a good,
Hmm.
dang good team too. And some March Madness in the what's it even called now? Crypto.
Crypto, yeah.
They're in Staples.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it.
yeah.
Huh.
Let me tell you about the vibe in Boston real quick. First off, I went like I was wearing my Celtics hat and really expecting to get some love, some Go Celtics around. Dude, no one wears Celtics gear. I saw like 3 guys total in my 3 days where I walked 27 miles around Boston. Everyone was just
Marathon.
wearing.
You did the marathon?
I over 3 days. I can't believe those guys do it in like 2 hours. I did get to see a little bit of the marathon though, but no, like I was shocked at how little Celtics gear I saw and how everyone just loves to rep the Sox. So it's Red Sox by a landslide. It's
So
the most repped team, and they're not even great. The
yeah,
Celtics are the
but
best team in basketball.
I think it's the color scheme and the design. The like Red Sox stuff, it can look cool in a casual manner if you're going out or something. And also baseball hats I think are way cooler. And also wearing Celtics green is a tough thing to wear out.
I mean, in large amounts, sure, like totally get that. But even like on game day, I'm like, guys, it's the playoffs. Like you gotta show out a little bit. And until you were within like a 300-yard proximity to the Garden, you saw nothing, nothing.
Hmm.
Of course, the Garden was decked out in green, and that was a great environment. But just being around the town, man, it's all the
Yeah.
gear. I think you're right. It's the aesthetic of it all. I think fits the Sox better.
So I mean some people would say Hornets fans are bigger fans because you see Hornets gear everywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly say that. I was just shocked about who like everyone loves the Celtics. They just weren't repping them.
Yeah, I mean, but like I feel like that's kind of the same way in New York City a little bit. Like everybody obviously is wearing Yankee stuff, and I feel like you don't see as much Jets gear.
Yeah, well, Jets suck. Like,
But also, I mean, but it's football
yeah, I mean the Pats were very well repped either.
or the Knicks. Like even yeah, I guess that's fair. Chat
You see
saying,
Knicks
"Wait,
though.
Chase, you're from Boston. How did you not know that?"
No, it's just like it's my first time being there in a while since the Celtics were the
Mm.
best team on planet Earth. So that's why I was a little shocked. I was just like,
Yeah,
I thought they'd had gained some momentum by now. And the city was kind of responding to that during playoff time, and I was a little disappointed in my hometown. But I'll tell you this, and then we can move on. Awesome it being in the Garden, great game. It actually was closer than we thought. But if you were in that arena, you'll know what I'm saying. No one batted an eye when the Magic like cut it to 5 in the fourth quarter. No one was worried. No one was at all concerned because we kind of just know how this is going. It's let's fast forward to the East Conference Finals and see if the Cavs are legit, and then let's defend the title in the finals. It,
hmm
it, it was the full air of confidence that no one flinched in the eye of Paolo Banchero, who actually played awesome that night. And like it just was without a doubt, Boston was winning that game without Tatum, and it was totally fine, even though it was closer than probably it should have been or even seemed.
yeah. I mean, I mean, even watching at home, I feel like maybe it's a little bit easier watching from home because fans are a little bit more pessimistic towards their teams and a little bit more,
Yeah.
roller coaster emotions. So you'd feel that more in the arena. But yeah, I mean, you're watching the game, you're going, the Orlando Magic offense is so cheeks. Their only offense is Paolo save us, and which he did about 1,000 times in this series so far, to be honest. But do we have anything else from the NBA?
Nah, I'm excited for a bunch of game threes and game fours. They're the tipping points of series, and we are going to be blessed for the next 4 days to see a ton of them. It's going to tell us a lot, and we're going to see where all these teams are going. It's pretty
All
sweet.
right, let's get to the NFL draft part of this. Let's talk about the NFL draft. We've done enough on the NBA. We'll be doing more stuff on the NBA. We should be live on Monday night. Monday night, plan on being live. Maybe Saturday. Who knows? We'll see. Keep posted. Anyhow, real quick, Titans take Cam Ward first overall. Quickly, like the pick, yes or no?
It's the pick you have to make. I can't say I like any of the quarterbacks. I don't want to be a hater, but you have to take him. So you see what you get. I don't think it pans out. I don't think he becomes a legitimate starter in the league, but that's just my opinion.
I like Cam Ward. I don't necessarily love the situation in Tennessee, though. I think Cam Ward could be successful, but what are you really working with there? You're working with a retirement home of wide receivers.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
Tyler Lockett signs today. Like, what are we doing?
right, in a franchise who hasn't taken it seriously for years. So, is this what you're really
They,
trying to do? Like rejuvenate it with Cam
uh,
Ward?
I mean, your current head coach at the Patriots made the Titans a legit team.
Yeah, and they fired him. That's what I'm talking about. And they were punching above their weight every single season. That's why I'm so
Yeah, they
stoked to
were.
watch the Pats. And they're an unserious franchise. They got rid of him.
Yeah. Talking about unserious franchises, I think these two are very, very, very unserious. Let's talk about the Browns Jaguars trade. Browns were at 2, Jaguars are at 5. Jaguars trade up for Travis Hunter. The full trade is Browns get the Jaguars 5th pick, 2nd round this year, 4th round this year, and Jags 1st next year. Jags get Travis Hunter, 4th round, and then a 6th round. In the moment, I understand Browns fans being upset. I think it's okay for Browns fans initially to freak out and be like, what the F is happening? Because if you've been a fan of a historically crappy franchise, your initial reaction to them making any move is, okay, how did they screw this up? So I think it's fair in the moment for Browns fans to be initially like, what the crap just happened? But when you really break this down, what a move by the Browns. That's a great play here because you go back, you get Mason Graham at 5, you get a 2nd round pick, and then you get the Jags 1st round pick next year. Let's say Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't historically been super healthy, isn't healthy next season, and the Jags have a rough season. All of a sudden, you could be picking in the top 5 next year. And not to mention, you also got an elite defensive tackle in Mason Graham. I think it's a home run job by the Cleveland Browns. And the Jags, it's a big gamble. But if you're going to take that gamble, go get a superstar like Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. I think at the end of the day, the Jaguars are going to be selling more tickets, maybe some more merch. They've won the original excitement for this next season. But I do think the Browns made a move for the future, and whether or not it's going to pan out is obviously still yet to come. But I love that 1st round Jacksonville pick next season. And at the end of the day, he didn't want Travis Hunter in Cleveland. I don't think he wanted to be in Cleveland. I don't know if that had a bunch to do with it, but I think it is a decent move from the Browns. They're playing the long game. I don't know. It's frustrating to be a Browns fan. I can only imagine. It legitimately would be tough, but yeah, I didn't hate it on either side really.
I don't necessarily hate it on either side, but it is a very, very big gamble if you're a Jaguars fan. You're going, okay, look, this is awesome. You have to be super pumped up. You're buying the jersey, no questions asked, and you are talking yourself into everything in the preseason. And if you trade up for a guy like that, putting all that weight into him, he's playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I think if they didn't, it'd be a mistake. At least this season.
Yeah, go for
Eventually
it. Why
get
not
settled.
try it? And then on top of that, you pair your franchise quarterback up with Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. I mean, come on. You are setting him up so well. They got to get an offensive line around him. Did some work in free agency. I'm sure that's what the rest of their draft will be about. So It could be a home run move for both of these teams. We'll find out. And then Andrew in the chat, Browns fan, he said, and pick 36 is huge too. Talking about that second round pick in this draft. That's going to be, people are going to be wanting that pick. The Browns could trade that down and get multiple second round picks for a couple years with that pick tomorrow. There's so many good players left available in the second round tomorrow. If you're a team, pick it in the later part of the second round. You're sitting there going, man, I would love to trade up and go get a guy like Will Johnson or Mike Green from Marshall. The Browns have a ton of leverage here.
They do, and they got Shadur Sanders staring at them right in the face. I'm kind of just messing with that. Although,
no, let's get into that seriously.
Yeah,
I think that's because obviously everyone's going to say, okay, the Browns, what are they going to do here? Some people thought the Browns were going to go Shadur at 5, and all of a sudden you're sitting here going, okay, are we Team Milrow? Are we Team Sanders? Tyler Shuck has been getting some weird buzz recently. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns didn't go quarterback at all.
Really? I wouldn't be shocked if they waited until the very later rounds, maybe took a stab at Will Howard, or maybe let's see if Riley Leonard has what it takes. Let's kick the tires on Dylan Gabriel. But I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up going Jalen Milrow here in the second round, because I think at the end of the day you need a quarterback. That's what makes or breaks a franchise, and why not take a swing on some guy with a second round pick?
Well, if you're taking that swing, I think you take it on Sanders.
I think Browns fans might disagree, especially with all the negative PR around Sanders right now. Obviously, over the past few days, it hasn't been good for his image.
The last thing a Browns fan wants and the Browns organization wants is negative PR surrounding their quarterback.
Yeah, they're all too used to that. I mean, to everyone's opinion, who do you think can actually play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in the future? I mean, I have a feeling like the odds are just good. There's a quarterback somewhere left in this draft who could be a potential NFL starter, and you just have to strike oil. You got to get lucky. And so
why not
take a swing?
But I just don't think it's a bad idea to wait until next year to get him. Why force it?
But I think what's the harm in taking Jalen Milrow? It's like, oh, he's a bigger Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Okay, fine. Let's try again next year. But why not just keep trying until you finally get one?
But then there's these guys in this draft still at this position where they could be, really key pieces for this franchise going forward. And then you set everything up around to bring in either a free agent quarterback or then draft a quarterback the following year, and puts that player into a much better position. And Andrew's in the chat saying, oh, give me Burden and Henderson. And if you don't take a quarterback this year, if a rookie quarterback or a free agent quarterback comes in next year and they have Luther Burden, Travion Henderson, in this just elite staff around them and all these different guys and key pieces from the draft, they're in a great situation there. I think they're set up better for success, but I obviously know, Kevin Stefanski, they're going to want to win now and everything, but yeah. And he's saying you can take a quarterback in both years, in my opinion. I think that's true, but if you take a quarterback this early, let's say at 33, and you take Sanders, you're not going to be as willing to just kick rocks on him next season immediately, are you?
It just depends. I think you can talk yourself into it if you use your 4th round pick on him. You're not paying him too much money. You're not too committed.
Sanders isn't falling to the 4th round. He's going second round.
Yeah, I'm saying you wouldn't take someone like Sanders. Maybe you take I'm just saying, take a swing, kick the tires on Will Howard, keep him in Ohio, see what he can do. 2 lottery tickets are better than 1, Carter. And so if you can just take a quarterback in both these drafts this season, next season, your odds just increase. That's all I'm saying.
I just worry you get put in a situation where, let's say you draft a guy like Shadur and he comes in and he plays well enough where he has flashes where he pulls the Will Levis of, okay, we saw a little bit that we liked here and there. If you just, stop doing the turnover thing and stop doing the taking terrible sacks thing, then we might have a little something there. And then you run it back with him, and then you get stuck even further. And why not just be a little more patient and go all in on your guy next season? Because the Browns are, even if you get Shadur, you're not competing for this division.
Yeah, probably not, but at least you tried. I mean, at least you.
That's fair.
You gave,
and you have to show your fans something too.
Yeah, because who's playing quarterback for the Browns if they don't draft someone? I don't
Me.
even know. Exactly.
Jack in the chat said, we all know Shiloh texting Shadur right now, like, quote, when you fall throughout life, remember to fall forward. Hey, I got you today, Kobe. I got you today, Kobe. Browns fan, residence Browns fan. I can't talk right now. It's 1:30 on the East Coast. Andrew said, I do agree. Wait till next year, especially with 2 firsts. And let's say these 2 firsts are like 15 and, I don't know, 8. 15 and 8 is enough to trade into the top 3.
Yeah, probably. It just depends on the fit. Which
And
team you're at.
then you're looking at a little Arch Manning action.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see
Whoever
comes
that
out
guy
of
is
the
going to be
limelight.
next year. Like
Yeah.
a year ago, you see the draft odds. It's like Carson Beck is the favorite to go 1 overall. It's like, has Carson Beck necessarily showed us anything to warrant that, or is it just Georgia quarterback hype and thinking he's going to just be better than Stetson Bennett?
Yeah, exactly. Who
Does
knows?
does Carson Beck having a rough year this year make Stetson Bennett's legacy even more great?
Yeah, I mean, I think the DOI did that for him too. But
All right, next question.
I think no.
It's Flacco, by the way. It's Flacco season.
In Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, okay then. Yeah, then wait. Let Flacco sling it around, man. I mean, he'll probably die on the field, but yeah.
Arch Manning to the Cowboys from Jack. Bookmark it. Jack, brutal night for the Cowboys. Sorry to steal your boy. We'll get into the Tet stuff in a second.
Boy, Jack across the 4 major sports is having a rough go at it. Sorry, Jack.
Giants. This is going to be a little bit of a 2-parter. They're jumping both sides of the draft. Abdul Carter at 3. Love that pick. I just take the best player available, even though you might not necessarily need him as much. But this dude is just going to be a beast in the NFL, in my opinion. And then you trade back into the first round and go get your quarterback, Jackson Dart. And that has been talked about a ton in the pre-draft process. Joe Judge is down there in Ole Miss, and there's all these different connections back to Ole Miss. And Jackson Dart to the Giants. How do you like it?
I think it was a shock, but I'm all for it. I'm a big believer in just take a quarterback, just try it out and find the guy that you like best, give him a shot. The problem in New York is it's not the greatest situation for someone like him to learn, grow, and flourish, and he's probably going to be tasked to be the day 1 starter.
You think with Jameis and Russ there? I think he sits behind those cats.
There's a chance, but you're probably right, actually, now that I think about it, and some of the moves that they did to go get their Russ and stuff. There's a chance he ends up playing. They might have the whole, let's let Russ play for 5-6 games, and then let's roll him out, kind of what the Patriots did with Drake May this season. But if you can learn and develop, I just think the Giants, at the end of the day, things are going to get worse before they get better as far as management and the staff goes. So hopefully that turnover is quick for someone like Jackson Dart to develop. But it was interesting, and like I'm all for it. I'm all for taking chances. Like, give this guy a try.
I don't hate Jackson. I don't hate the Jackson Dart pick here. I don't necessarily love trading back into the first round for it, but if you really feel like he's your guy, look, man, no one's going to give a crap that you gave up a pick for him. And so if it works out, it is a gamble. And this front office and this coaching staff, they don't have a choice right now. This is it for them. This is a prove it year and saying, hey, we're not giving you much, but you got to figure it out. And they're taking their one chance here with Jackson Dart. And you get a guy like Malik Neighbors to play with. That's not nothing as a rookie quarterback if you get to throw to him, and especially if he's not thrown into the fire immediately. You do get to be around some vets with Russ and Jameis. I don't know how much that really helps your development with being with Russell Wilson and Jameis
Those
Winston.
might be the 2 worst vets to ever be paired with. What are we talking about?
Yeah, you're probably right. Jameis, I don't know about Jameis.
I mean, he's a great hang, but I mean, the cat got arrested for stealing crab legs. Like,
well, we're not talking about that. I'm talking about him playing quarterback. I don't care about. I'm not talking about that.
You think, like a mentor from the quarterback position, Jameis Winston, who's anyone who has rooted. I mean, ask Andrew, a resident Browns fan, who it's the ultimate emotional roller coaster. It's like you're doing cocaine every
I'm not
Sunday
saying
morning.
he's a good quarterback, but like we've seen backup quarterbacks that have been good to rookies and younger players that get them acclimated to the league a little bit. They're not usually that good, to be honest. Andy Dalton's not a good quarterback, but he has helped Bryce Young in his development.
Yeah, no, yeah.
They don't have to be good. Jameis Winston stinks. He's terrible.
Yeah, I just don't know what he's going to be teaching you. I mean, we've all seen the Jameis workout videos, man. Are we going to get some Jackson Dart? Jackson Dart goes works out with Jameis.
Jack in the chat said MPJ in the post game said he couldn't lift his arm without pain. Karter, go ahead and flip your pick and send me Connor's Venmo. Yeah, it might be Jover for the Nuggets. I don't know, but like they can still win a game without Michael Porter Jr.
Talk to me at game 4. Talk to me at game 4. Come on.
Yeah, game 4 will decide the series. But other NFL draft stuff, Giants obviously Dart and Abdul Carter. Will Campbell to the Pats. You got to love that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of discourse about him. Apparently his arms are too short.
Hey, being 1 inch short is not that bad.
No, and like honestly,
1 inch is
you don't want too long of arms because that can hurt. I like it. Get Drake May some protection, and make sure that you find a way to keep him off the ground and figure out the receiver position later in the draft. I'm hoping that they go.
What do you mean? You have Stephon Diggs coming off a season-ending injury.
I mean,
you guys are
nothing's
set
better
up.
than 30-something odd disgruntled receivers who just blew out their knee. I can't wait to see him take the field. No, I mean, look, I mean, he's still talented. We'll see how that ends up. I need them to draft a receiver in the second round, though, to feel really good about the draft. But I'm all for taking talented tackles. So I hope Campbell figures it out. I like his attitude. I like his interviews, and I think, listen, man, if he can block and if he works hard, he'll be great.
Ginty to the Raiders. That was probably the most obvious pick of this draft, and I think the Raiders are in this weird position. You know, when these NBA teams where it's like the Hornets are all of a sudden saying, we're going to go pay Gordon Hayward a bunch of money. We're going to go pay these random free agents a bunch of money. And we're going to compete for that 8 seed this year. Okay, the Sacramento Kings, when they're like, screw it, we're going in. We're making sure we can compete for the 8 seed. The Bulls for every single year going to get Vucevic and paying Levine a bunch of money. We're going for that 8 seed. We are making sure we're going to be mediocre. I think that's what the Raiders are kind of doing, saying, hey, let's rock with Geno Smith. Let's get Ashton Ginty in here, and let's see what happens, because I don't know necessarily the game plan, because if you're a team going for Ashton Ginty, you're trying to win right away. That's not, and you're bringing in a 70-year-old head coach. You're trying to win right away, but I don't know if that necessarily, the formula necessarily works with Geno Smith as your quarterback and surrounded by this Raiders roster.
Yeah, I mean, Geno Smith was graduating college when Ashton Ginty was like in diapers, dog. So the dichotomy is different. But this year, this season alone, you've got yourself a quarterback who's proven he can at least be decent, and now you have the most exciting player in college football, sans probably Travis Hunter, obviously. Coming in, the problem is your division, right? The Chiefs are still going to be the Chiefs. Who knows what the Chargers can do to reload with still a really talented quarterback and a head coach who knows what he's doing. And then the Broncos also are coming off of a pretty decent season. So, if you're the Raiders, you're in a tricky position. But that was the move. Let's make a splash, have an exciting player come in and see what you can do this season.
With the Broncos, super quick, this doesn't have to go long. You don't know how bad I want to do the Bo Nix's Mac Jones 2.0.
Oh, that's a good one, dude.
I've been thinking about it for a long time. I'm a little too scared to, let it fly. I think by the time we start doing preseason pods, I'm saying Bo Nix's Mac Jones 2.0. I mean, you look at it, you go, he was solid that rookie season. No, like he's the future and everything. He's already an older guy. How much more is he going to actually develop in this league? And then on top of that, he goes, yeah, you went to the playoffs. That's awesome. you didn't do anything in that playoff game. You didn't necessarily help your team in any way, and it was clear that you couldn't have brought your team back in that playoff game or anything. I don't know. There's eerie comparisons here.
There is. I think he's got a little bit more than Mac Jones as someone who had to root for Mac Jones for an entire season. But that is, I think he's like half Mac Jones, half Jordan Love, where he makes some big time throws, but half the time it feels like they're lucky. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but also at least Bo Nix can make plays with his feet though. At least, and Mac Jones, I mean, it was like cinder blocks on his feet. Just when you just see like a fat guy running through sand. That's what it felt like every single time I saw Mac Jones out of the pocket. You're like, oh my gosh, dude, it was rough watching that. But I just wanted that out there. We're gonna table that for a later
Okay.
discussion though.
Yeah, put that in the pressure cooker. I love it.
Yeah, that's getting worked on this summer. We can watch some more film and let that cook for a little bit. Moving on in this draft, GT 6, Jets get a defensive tackle at 7. The Panthers, Arizona wide receiver Tech McMillan at 8. As a Panthers fan, I don't necessarily hate it. In the moment, I wanted Jalen Walker. I wanted Michael Williams from Georgia. I wanted an edge because we had the worst defense in NFL history last season. But this is a commitment to Bryce Young, and this is clearly Bryce Young and Dave Canales saying, hey, this is our guy. We need him on offense. And Bryce Young has an X receiver now, which he desperately has needed since he's been there. And there's obviously been a lot of questions about his body language, how much he loves football and all this stuff. You know what, man? He clearly gets along with Bryce Young, and let's just see what happens once we get on the football field. And so I'm excited for it. It's an exciting pick in the draft. Am I nervous about it? 100%, but I think it could be a home run pick.
It can. I feel like with receivers, especially that early, it's either a home run or a complete that was a miss. And so I think they're swinging for the fences. And look, if there's a guy to be a home run, it's Tech McMillan with his skill set, his body, and the things that he can do on a football field. So I think getting Bryce a legitimate weapon was important to them because I think his development is their number one priority. And so you just have to find guys that he can reliably throw the ball to, as well as protect him and all that stuff and establish a run game. So that's what they went for, man. And we all know how big, talented McMillan can be.
And I really think this, if the Panthers have an average defense this year in the NFL and Bryce can continue what he did in the second half of last season, especially bringing in a guy like Tech McMillan, they're competing for the NFC South at the least.
Yeah, especially with the way the division looks. That's not too far fetched.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I think the Bryce to Tet thing is real. They've been working out together as well, apparently in private, and we'll see what happens. Jack in the chat is saying Will Levis is better than Bryce Young. Okay, Dylan Wilkerson, I know you. He's hacked into Jack's account. I know who this is. I think Jack's drunk. I think I think the Cowboys not getting Tet McMillan. I think the Avs losing in OT. I think the Nuggets losing in OT and getting blown out tonight. I think Tottenham being terrible in the league. I think our guy Jack has just had enough, and he's literally just drinking a Jack and Coke right now, saying, "I give up. I'm done."
He said that. He also said, I don't know if you missed. He said Chili's is closed as well. So
yeah, so I just think he went to a local grocery store or convenience store and he's like, yeah, I'm making my own Jack and Coke tonight.
I mean, on the eve of his birthday, too, or was it the double eve? So it's Saturday. So
Saturday, yeah.
Adam. So I mean, Eve on your birthday here in 15 minutes when it's hits midnight on the West Coast and 2 a.m. on the East Coast, Carter, where you're at.
It is 2 a.m. and I gotta be up early, so let's keep things rolling here. Colson Loveland at 10 for the Bears, shocking pick right there. It could work out. I'm not saying he's gonna be a bust or anything, but I thought that was a very eye-opening selection at 10. And that was the first draft pick where I go, oh.
Yeah, it's one where you're like, are you getting a little too cute with this? Are you trying really hard to? Sometimes they're trying to be like, we're smarter than everyone. We see something everyone doesn't see, and maybe they did. Like maybe they legitimately saw something, but it was definitely interesting. I'll say that.
Yeah, I was a little curious about that one. That one was odd. But yeah. And then any other picks you wanted to touch on? We kind of already did. We can talk about Shadur. I mean, Shedeur falling out of the first round. We've talked to people, a lot of draft scouts and NFL teams are clearly saying that, hey, we don't necessarily love his film. And I think one interesting thing about the Shedeur Sanders falling out of the first round piece is, what if he doesn't play that bowl game against BYU? Because that BYU bowl game exposed him quite a bit. And let's say he just sits out and doesn't play that one. People love to do the, oh, congratulations, that's awesome. You played in your team's bowl game. You're all about the team. But then when it ends up looking like how Shedeur did, and he put a lot of bad film out there for NFL executives, does he get drafted in the first round if he doesn't play the Alamo Bowl?
I'll be a little hot. I'll say yeah. I mean, the clip that comes to mind is him with Travis Hunter just sitting there, and he's just saying, I don't know what they're doing. He has absolutely no idea what BYU is running. Shout out to BYU for having a really, really good game plan against Colorado. But the reason they could is because of his tendencies. His weaknesses were so apparent on film. They went out, sniffed it out, and planned for it perfectly and absolutely demolished him in that game. Like, if BYU can do that to him, I guarantee NFL defensive coordinators can do it too. So I think that legit was a problem.
If you're not playing in the college football playoff and you are a potential top 10, top 15 pick, there's no way you should ever play a bowl game that's not a college football playoff game, because it's not necessarily going to help you at that point. Let the potential do its thing. Go work out in shorts in an NFL pro day where it's all scripted in your indoor practice facility at your college campus, and look good then, and then your stock's going to rise like crazy, like Jackson Dart. And Jackson Dart, he played in his bowl game, but he wasn't a bona fide first-round pick, and then he got to put on some good film against a Duke team that had a bunch of guys sitting out in that game. So it's this weird thing, but yeah, I think people are going to look at the Shedeur Sanders example a little bit going forward and be like, oh, that actually really hurt him.
It might have cost him like $1 million when you break down this draft position and the contracts they're going to have. Where do you see him now getting drafted, Carter? Which team takes that swing on him in the second round?
I want to say Cleveland so bad. I want to say Cleveland so bad. You go ahead. Who do you think he goes to? I need to look at the second round pick order.
Well, let's look here. Cleveland will pick. Then Houston doesn't need a QB. Tennessee obviously does not need one. Then Cleveland again. So the odds are he goes in that first four to one of the Cleveland picks. Then you have the Raiders. I could see a legit possibility of him going to Las Vegas. I think there was already a lot of buzz for him there. He gets to
New Orleans at 40 is very enticing.
Between Las Vegas, New Orleans, and then maybe someone like New York or
the chat saying Jets
takes a chance. I could see that happening, but I wouldn't be shocked, Carter, if everyone's kind of just keen to let him continue the slip, and eventually we see him going to some team we never expected as an expected backup.
It's interesting because I think a lot of this for the Steelers depends on, hey, Aaron Rodgers, what are you doing? They said that so many times on the broadcast tonight. I really wonder if they knew the Aaron Rodgers piece of this, that, okay, we're going to get Shedeur or not. So that's something to look out for as well. Yeah, I'll say New Orleans. I'll say New Orleans trades up from 40 and they get one of those Cleveland picks and they end up taking him. The Mel Kiper thing was really weird tonight. It was like he was being paid off by the Shedeur Sanders camp that, hey, you need to pump up this dude. It was Jimmy Clausen 2.0. If you remember that draft from like 15 years ago, Mel Kiper was about to have a stroke on TV, just being like, you guys have got to be kidding me. You oh my gosh, you're letting this guy go away. Also, this is another random thing. It's 2 a.m. and we're doing this, so whatever. Chat says sneaky. Andrew said sneaky Rams, by the way, for Shedeur. I don't hate that whatsoever. But does Mel Kiper kind of look like Lois's dad in Family Guy?
Yeah. I mean, put Kiper's hair in white. I think you have a legit shot there.
No, not him. Who am I thinking of? Oh, is it Peter's dad in Family Guy?
Does Peter's dad appear in Family Guy?
It's this cat. Yes, 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 yes. This is who I'm thinking of. Hold up. Let me share my screen.
Are you sharing this? Let's see it.
Yeah, this guy.
Oh yes, yeah. I think that is Mel Kiper. I think they designed that after him. Man, look at that budget.
Yeah, that's Mel Kiper. Yeah, every time I see Mel Kiper on TV, that's all I think about. But it was weird, man. He was going off on the Shatur Sanders stuff, being like, "You gotta be kidding me! What the f is wrong with all these teams and stuff?" It's like, I don't know, man. I think a lot of these NFL teams see a lot of bad film.
Yeah, he's kind of turned into like the Stephen A of NFL, but without like the showmanship that is required to pull off what Stephen A requires. Like he really tries, and he tries to go on these rants. They just don't make any sense, and it's clear that you have a lot of stock in Shadur Sanders, man, and like that's fine. Like good for you, but stop pushing it on us. I don't understand.
He looks. Mel Kiper looks just like Francis Griffin to me. It's insane. I just think about it all the time. Also has the same demeanor. Like it's kind of perfect.
How many episodes has Francis Griffin like appeared in? I've seen a decent
I
amount of
don't
Family
know.
Guy.
I only watched like the first few seasons of Family Guy, so like not a ton, but like I know the character.
I mean, you were
But
spot on with it, so I'll
yeah.
take. I'll trust
Anyhow,
your word.
anything else from the draft? Jalen Milrow, you Jalen Milrow guy?
Dude, I'm a hater, so it's not really fair what I say. I don't like any of the QBs in this draft. There's going to be
Yeah,
one
that's
guy
fair.
who pans out and
Is
becomes
there?
like a starter. Like not someone great. I don't see anyone becoming like a legitimate playoff contending winning quarterback. There's probably a starter somewhere in this draft. Like one. I could it's a crapshoot. I have no idea who he is. Jalen Miller is exciting and he's got a big arm and he can run and he's built like a linebacker. So I wouldn't hate drafting him based on those credentials alone and just see what you've got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think Cam Ward's gonna be very solid, but like it could very well be like the 22 draft class with Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ritter, Matt Corral, Bailey Zappi was in that class. Sam Howell might be the best quarterback from that class.
Yeah, I think the difference is like if the experts tried to pass this off as like a pretty decent QB draft class, whereas that 22 one it was kind of like there's no one's really good. Um, this one though, just I just don't see it. I'm not feeling it. I think NFL teams are feeling the same way because of how they're letting a lot of these guys just continue to slip.
Yeah. The last couple things I want to touch on. Falcons, they went all in on their defense tonight. They said, "Look, we're getting James Pierce." They traded back into the first round for him. Took Jalen Walker after he slipped down to 15. People really didn't like what Atlanta did by trading back into the first round, going for James Pierce. I kind of liked it, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't mind it either. I think they're in
Going to get your guys on the edge. Atlanta desperately needed that. They generated no pressure last season on quarterbacks. Dudes had all day to throw, and now you bring in a guy like James Pierce Jr. You bring in a guy like Jalen Walker. I really like it. I think they addressed their needs perfectly.
yeah. I mean the NFL games are starting to be won and lost. Look at the Eagles. We always look at the past Super Bowl champion as kind of the blueprint. They're won and lost at the line of scrimmage nowadays. And
Yeah.
so if you're the Falcons, who were quite literally the worst in the NFL at that, that's the move to make. They're also in kind of desperation mode with what they're doing. Quarterback room still in question, right? You're on a short leash. You don't know how long you have with some of these skill guys. So go fix the weakest part, run it back, see what you can do.
All right. I love it. Real quick, last thing. What do you want the Patriots to do tomorrow in the draft?
I want to see a receiver. I want to see
Receiver.
someone exciting. You've been whiffing
Specific player?
for 15 years now. You've been whiffing for 15 years. Let's finally hit one. I love Jaden Higgins. Outside of out of Iowa State, I think he's a legit baller, and I've loved what I've seen from him. Obviously, wouldn't be
Luther
mad.
Burden.
I wouldn't be mad
Luther.
about Burden. Yeah,
I love him, dude. I think
wouldn't be
Brady
mad about
Cook
Bird.
had one of the worst. Brady Cook was one of the most fake good quarterbacks I've seen in college football this season. And Missouri ended up winning what, almost 10 games this season, and Brady Cook was still terrible. And I think Luther Burden could be just awesome in this league.
Yeah, I agree. I think those two are what I'm looking at. Jaden Higgins probably my first pick. Uh, Sometimes you can tell if a receiver's going to make it in the NFL not based on his name. Like I can tell you right now, Jack Beck, he'll have like a 2-3 year career. Trey Harris, he's not making it. Like
I like
I,
Trey Harris.
you just know. I know. I like what I see.
I like
I've
Trey
seen his
Harris.
name. I'm talking about his name. Jaden
Yeah,
Higgins is a name of a receiver who plays 10 years and has multiple Pro Bowls. You know?
no, it isn't.
It is
Jaden
Jaden
Higgins.
Higgins.
No, he's
Yeah.
not. He's Kenny Britt.
No, he is not, man. That's
He's
Trey
Kenny Britt.
Harris.
He no
These,
Ted
I don't want
Ginn.
these one syllable words. Yeah, see these
Ted Ginn.
one syllable names. They don't
Ted
work.
Ginn had a
Jaden
sneaky
Higgins.
all right career. Panthers tomorrow. Just give me an edge. I would love Mike Green from Marshall. I can't pronounce his name to save my life. Give me the edge from Boston College. I want one of those two. That would be my wish list tomorrow. Might be too much to ask for. And last thing, and then we'll get out of here. It's 2 a.m. What on earth are the Buccaneers doing taking Igbukah at 19? You already have a decent receiving core there.
They must have just fallen in love and they felt like he was too good to pass on. I have no idea. I was as shocked as everyone else. I really don't understand it.
It didn't make a lot of
nothing.
sense to me, but maybe they see something they love in him. So come to find out, get Baker as much help as possible. I mean, my goodness. But anyhow, all right, that does it from us. We've gone long enough. At Chase_Roger0, at CarterB8. Download SeatGeek. Use code Karterkast. $20 off your first purchase. $50 minimum purchase required. Terms and conditions do apply. Create your account. Go to SeatGeek.com. Download the SeatGeek app today. $20 off your first purchase. Go check out Church Ball. We have a new episode out if you're listening to this right now. It should be out on Spotify and Apple right now. It'll be out on YouTube in the morning. And hit that subscribe button if you're watching on Karterkast YouTube channel, Karterkast on Twitter, or if you're listening on Apple or Spotify to this, go check out, or make sure to hit that subscribe button, 5-star review, and check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe, follow at Karterkast and everything. And we'll see y'all next time. Bye.